Hey guys, Saf here with another Raid Shadow Legends video, and in today's video we're going to be breaking down the Adventure deck of Fate that has just launched today. This is going to be an event where you get access to some Slayer artifacts. We've got some mythical and epic and legendary, and to be fair, we've also got quite a number of accessories, which is probably the more valuable thing. Although we've only really got 3 rings or 4 rings here. 4 amulets, so this is going to be an opportunity for you to get access to these very rare Slayer artifacts which only appear in the Forge Pass. Now in this video I will be breaking down how much this event is going to cost. By the thumbnail you might have realized it's going to cost you an awful lot of silver. We're going to be looking at whether or not it's worth doing Dungeon Divers or Artifact Enhancement, and we're also going to be looking at all the different reward structures here. So let's cover the first thing here. I always put this disclaimer in when I do a Deck of Fates video. How does the Deck of Fate event work? If this is the first time you've ever done this, well, very much like Hero Path events, there is 2 or 3 ways you can earn some points here. Once you earn points, you will earn yourself Fate Fossils. That is the specific currency for this event. In this particular one, it's get artifact and upgrade artifacts, which essentially means Dungeon Divers and Artifact Enhancement. Those are the 2 events that you're going to be doing. Once you collect enough points to get 1,000, you can flip a card for 1,000 Fossil Fate tokens. There are 40 cards in total, which means you need to collect 40,000 in total. Once you flip a card, you'll get one of these rewards. These are guaranteed rewards. If you were to flip all 40 cards, then you would get every single item that exists in here. Now, some of these items will be singular, specifically like the artifacts, because you can't have half an artifact, but the web points are likely to be hidden across multiple, as is the Chaos Dust, right? We've got 36 rewards over 40 cards, so at least the web points and the dust will probably split over an additional 4 cards. You won't get one card as 150. It'll be split over a number of ones. Once you flip that card, you get that reward, you get it instantly. Excellent. However, each card will also have a rarity, and that rarity is either the uncommon, the rare, or the epic. And if you flip 3 of these same rarities in a row, has to be in a row, then you will get one of these rewards here as well. It's actually quite good if you can get some uncommon flips, because a couple of 100 gems actually adds a lot of value to this event. If you get the epic, which is incredibly difficult to do, then really you're looking for this Eternal Soulstone or this Primal Shards or the 500 gems or the Legendary Book. I would not really want the 6-star Legendary Chaos or the Barrel, but these bonus rewards you can't get all the time. This is going to be if you flip 3 in a row. This is not guaranteed, but as long as you do the event, all of these rewards are guaranteed. And that is essentially how the event works. If you flip 2 different rarities, then the whole counter resets. Let's have a quick look to see what kind of rewards we're going to get. So as I mentioned, we are going to get some Slayer accessories here. This is pretty much the theme, Slayer accessories. There is still a Legendary Book. There's 150 web points, so if you need these for your Titan event, I'm personally not doing the Titan event, so I'm not really motivated by these points, but if you need them, then these points are available as well. There's some Chaos Dust, which 5 is okay, but it's not really worth the investment. I mean, if this was like 20, I'd be talking a different story. There's also a Void Shard, an Ancient Shard. So I was just recording this. I've just realized these artifacts are actually specifically determined to the faction already. So you can only get a Skinwalker ring, a Shadowkin ring, a Bannerlord ring, a Sacred Order ring, and an Orc ring. So you really need to decide actually if there's any factions that this makes sense to. They've actually hard-coded the faction, which to some extent might be good if you're looking for a Shadowkin AoE. So let's just have a look here. So what have we got? We've got a Skinwalker. Let me write this down quickly. Only 5 factions you can get these accessories for. So you really need to actually take a look here to go, do you actually want Slayer accessories for these 5 factions? Because if you don't want the factions, then realistically, it's only going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 artifacts, right? The accessories are a big deal here. The actual artifacts are not. There's no middle row artifacts either. So really, you've got to make a decision if you want the faction accessories. So the factions we got available to us are Skinwalker, Orcs, Bannerlords, Shadowkin, and Sacred Order. So in terms of a Skinwalker, I always say that Slayer pieces are only good for anyone with an AoE A1 or someone you want to basically run predominantly AoE if you have the right setup. So that means someone like a Nekmo Thar, for example, is very good because he's got an AoE A1. Even if you don't put him all the way through to a 9-piece bonus, putting him on a 4-piece bonus gives you good turn meter, right? There's 2 ways to build it. Either you go full damage, go all the way to 9 or 6, or you just go the turn meter for 4. And it's always handy having accessories in this position. So I would suggest that for a Skinwalker, Uko could be quite interesting as a 4-piece. Sun Wukong is not very good because his A1 is not AoE and his secondary hit is a bit awkward. I mean, you can kind of trunder it where the second hit is AoE, but it's not great. Certainly Marius the Gallant would be super efficient on it because there's weird things going on with max HP. When I actually stop having things to do and building things, then I absolutely will be doing a Slayer set video this week. That is the plan. We got some other AoE A1s in terms of like Ragash is not bad, but generally from an epic point of view, legendary point of view here, there's not that many amazing options in terms of a Slayer piece for Skinwalkers. Now for Orcs, Artak for a Slayer 4-piece, very good. But again, we're not really looking at very good AoE. Now Garrel is the one exception here. I will be chasing this just for Garrel accessories because if I can get a Garrel 9-piece, that is really strong. My Garrel right now is at 6 pieces because I don't have the accessories. So I will actually, this motivates me now because I get a guaranteed chance at some Orcs accessories. In terms of Bannerlords, you've got lots. You've got Barons, A3 if you want it. You've got Taras. You've got many different champions here that can absolutely make use of it. Shadowkin, who have we got in here? We've got Lady Mikage, not that great for Slayer. Toshiro, not that great for Slayer. In terms of legendaries, who have we got here? I would suggest no one in the Shadowkin really benefits too much from Slayer. There's too much single target going on, so I would suggest that, you know, the Shadowkin ones are not ideal. And then finally, Sacred Order. Siegfried, his secondary hit can, but you don't really need it, and you'd rather have as much ignore defense on the A3 as you can. We do have someone like Constantine, not bad. Supreme Aethel, not bad. But again, none of these are screaming to me Slayer pieces because they're just not fully AoE, and you really want a Slayer person. Someone like Garrel are always AoEs, right? That's kind of what you want. So keep that in mind when you're doing this. These accessories are hard-coded. So if you don't have any champion that will benefit from this, then it's maybe not worth doing. Let's get into the math breakdown. Let's cover off the first thing, which is how likely are you to get 3 in a row? So normally there's much more sort of weighting towards common. Normally there's not as many epic or rares and there's more common chances, which means you end up somewhere in the region of about an 8% chance of getting 3 commons in a row, which is a pretty good chance, but it always made epic pretty poor. They've actually moved some of them into the rare and the epic this time. So epic right now is up to 10, rare is 15. So on average, it's going to be about a 4.61% for a common or a rare 3 in a row, and about a 1.21% chance that you're going to get an epic in a row. It's very, very unlikely you're going to get 3 in a row. If you do, congrats, it's great rewards, but you cannot depend on these rewards at all because of the way that it's the way that it works. Talk about Dungeon Divers. One of the things I want to point out first is they have restored the Dungeon Diver points back to a higher than average level. The last one we had of Deck of Fates with Dungeon Divers was about 26 points. See, for a 6-star mythical, they absolutely gutted the points because I think of the pairing it was with was something like Summon Souls or Summon Shards, something of that nature. It used to be about 55. They've now put it back up to 60. So Dungeon Divers is about 120% better than the last Deck of Fates that I could find with Dungeon Divers. The way that we work this out is essentially we draw out the opportunities, you know, the odds of getting different artifacts. Then we map it up against the actual average rates of these coins, and that gives us a rough average coin per energy ratio. So you can see you get more coins on 10 hard, but because of the energy increase, you're still going to get more coins per energy on 20 or 8 or 16, but 20 normally, but just because of the number of runs you need to do. That's just the way that it works out. You also want better gear, so 20 works out better than 16. So generally stage 20, as it is for all events, is always the most efficient. In terms of upgrading artifact, though, one thing to note, they nerfed the artifact upgrade points quite significantly. Before, it used to be 530 points for a 6-star, you know, reaching level 16 on a 6-star. That's now gone down to 410. That represents about 22%. They brought artifact enhancement down by about 22%. That means it's going to cost more silver than usual. It's now about 410, and basically if you want to take something from 0 to 16, it's 506 points that you're going to get. So basically half of a card flip. That's how you work it out. And I do have the average silver cost upgrading. This is the way that the algorithm works out the chance based on the number of rolls and the way that it works it out. This math was done a while ago by Senti, and it's still relevant as of today because they have not touched the artifact upgrading rates or silver costs at all. So this is how much on average it costs you to take something from 0 to 16. 0 to 12, 0 to 8, 0 to 4. This is the average cost. What we can do is we can map this all in here into an analysis spreadsheet, and we can work out how much is it going to cost us to do all of these events. So first things first, let's take a look at the dungeon diver requirements. So if we want to flip 10 coins, it's going to require us to do 306 10 hard or 342 stage 20 normal. So just 10 flips on a dungeon divers is about 5,000 energy, 5 to 6,000 energy. If you just want to do dungeon divers, you don't want to do artifact enhancement, then you're looking at somewhere in the region of 21 to 24,000 energy. Whenever dungeon divers are in the hero's path of the deck of fates, it is never the way to do it. It is always supplementary coins. It is not the way to do it. So I absolutely would recommend, if you need to do something like one of those Marius mythical artifact quests, then it's not a bad time to do it. But ultimately, this is just going to be so much energy that for the average player, you will only supplement a couple of card flips with dungeon divers. You're not going to supplement too many, like maybe 5 to 10 card flips tops. You're not going to supplement too much here. If you're going to do this, you're going to do it through artifact enhancement. The only problem is artifact enhancement is also super expensive. It is also super expensive. So I've got just the full 40 here, just the full 40, just to have a look how it is. If you want to halve it, that gives you 20. That's how you can do it. If you want to flip the entire deck, then the cheapest way that it always works out is to basically do 12 to 16 upgrades and always 6-star artifacts. Jewelry, like accessories, you should never do. Accessories are super expensive. You should never do it this way. And going from 12 to 16 is the most cost-effective way to do this. I've compared this against a typical artifact enhancement, which is 7,000 points. So we have a bit of a comparison to see how it compares to a typical artifact enhancement. Now, obviously, this is a bit subjective because the rewards you get in this deck of fate is nowhere near the same as an artifact enhancement, but it's at least a comparison. So if you did want to go from level 0 to 16, then you're going to need to do somewhere in the region of 79 rank 6 main pieces, so artifacts, or 79 jewelry, or if you want to do rank 5, it needs to be 104, and it's not that much cheaper doing rank 5. That is going to cost you on average 141 million silver, compared to a artifact enhancement, which only would cost you around about 30 million. So it is significantly more expensive than artifact enhancement, and it's going to cost you an absolute bank balance of silver. Even on the most efficient way we can do it, which is essentially 5-star main or 6-star, you need to do 96 rank 16 upgrades. 96 at a cost of 132 million. Like, I want to do this event, but even that number makes me feel like I want to go throw up in some alley somewhere and just not think about it. It's worse than a hangover from a night out, and that's exactly how this feels. Obviously, you can offset, you can do a little bit of artifact enhancement, a little bit of dungeon divers, but you're looking at somewhere in the region of 132 million for artifact enhancement, and around about 21 to 24,000 energy for dungeon divers. Pick your poison. Now, this event will last for 3 days, 23 hours. There will be sort of summon chases here, like there's a Shadowkin one on at the moment. I think there is also another event that will happen. After this Spider turn attack finishes, there's also going to be another turn attack tournament, which will have a boosted event as well. That one looks to be currently scheduled as a dragon tournament. So there's probably going to be some sort of artifact boost on the dragon tournament, whether that be speed or whether that be something else. So potentially doing a bit of dungeon divers doesn't harm you, but it is going to be very expensive. Now, I was fortunate enough, I actually prepared some artifacts recently on some champions that I had just upgraded, so I can get some boosts. So I'm just going to get a few cards here so we can flip a few cards at the end of this video. So I've just spent about 10 million silver upgrading level 15 to level 16 artifacts. So this is about 11 rank 6 artifacts, about 3 rank 5 artifacts. So that has given me 6 card flips, just to give you a representation of how much this is going to cost you. 10 million silver here is giving me about 6. I was already prepared, so I'd saved myself a bunch of silver to do this. The rest is going to cost me a lot of silver, but we can flip a few cards here to see what we get. I always start on the corner. We actually get some web points. That is the worst thing that I could have because I don't really want those web points. A lot of people would be super excited by getting those web points. Now I really want a blue. Oh, we got a green. Lost the 3 in a row. Okay, green. Lovely. Can we get a green as well? Ah. Okay, so and this is the frustration you're going to have with the system is if you don't get 3 in a row, what are you going to get? But we did get some 3 accessories. Let's have a look at what these pieces really roll like, because the biggest problem you're going to have is, yes, you will get these pieces, but will it roll any good? Is it worth keeping? If it rolls HP, it's not great. That was actually really good here. So, you know, I'll upgrade this, see what we get. It kind of rolled the HP last, but it's not too bad. It's worth keeping. These pieces actually worked out quite nicely. They're not too bad. Ideally, I'd want it all on speed, but you know, it doesn't really matter too much. That one's probably quite weak. So there's always the gambit. You could literally spend 100 million silver and get absolutely nothing. Like a Slayer 6-piece with speed on an attack banner. This is phenomenal if it rolls well. And it did roll pretty okay. It didn't roll great, but it rolled okay. And actually rolled speed there. So if this rolls attack as well, this is glorious. It's a great piece to have. So that one worked out quite nicely. What else have we got here? We've got a Defense Slayer Sacred Order. So that's the Sacred Order one. I really want the Orcs one. That one didn't go so well, but at least we got 1 speed. And then we have a Bannerlord's crit damage. Okay, so that investment of silver really paid off because all of these are super good. Trying to get a 6-star crit damage amulet is very difficult. It is so difficult from Slayer sets when you only get a certain amount per Forge Pass. So for me, this has worked out really well. Those pieces are great. I will probably push a little bit more into this event. I will say though, this is a very expensive event. Let's see if we can get 1 blue. Ugh. We got 2 blue, 2 green, and 2 blue, and then a green. It's painful, very painful. At least it is guaranteed rank 6 epic and legendary and mythical. That is the good news here. The bad news is it's just a very expensive event. It is just going to cost you an awful lot of silver. Wow, that is crazy good. So if you can roll the pieces, great. It's going to be really good. But it is so much silver that it's just going to probably bankrupt you. If you've got a lot of artifacts you want to upgrade, you want to build up some things after the regearing event, then great. I definitely recommend trying to get some of these flips, even if you get a few of them. It's not the end of the world. And sometimes if you can get 3 in a row, like 100 gems kind of helps pay off some of the debt that it's going to cost you. But I will categorize this as an event that is good, but stupidly expensive. Just remember, it is guaranteed. It's forcing the faction. So if you don't need those factions, maybe it's less enticing. There you go, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll put a link in the description, as always, for the spreadsheet. And I'll catch you guys in the next video.